Hello everyone, welcome back to Learn English with Aayra, and I'm so happy that you are here with me today again. I wanted to ask you a question.
Have you ever experienced this? You can understand English, you can read articles, you can even write in English. But the moment someone says, "Can you introduce yourself?" suddenly your mind goes blank, you forget even the simplest words. Your heart starts beating faster. And after the conversation, you remember every single word you wanted to say. You think, why does this always happen to me? Why can't I speak English even though I have studied for so long? If you have ever felt this way, this video is for you. Because today I'm going to explain the psychology behind this problem. And I promise you, by the end of this podcast, you will stop blaming yourself. The biggest misunderstanding is that most English learners think I forget words because I have bad memory. But psychology says that usually not true. The problem isn't that your brain has forgotten the word. The problem is that your brain can't retrieve it quickly enough. Think about your phone. Just because you can't find a photo immediately doesn't mean the photo has been deleted. It's still there, you just need a moment to find it. Your brain works in a similar way. The word is stored in your memory, but during a conversation, finding that word quickly becomes difficult. The famous study that explained this back in 1966, psychologists Roger Brown and David McNeil became curious about something. They wanted to answer a simple but fascinating question. Why do people sometimes know a word but can't say it? To study this, they invited participants in a laboratory. Instead of showing them words, they gave them definitions of uncommon words. Sometimes the participants immediately remembered the correct word, but many times something strange happened. People said, "I know this word, I just can't remember it." And more interesting, many participants could remember the first letter and the last letter or the number of syllables, but they still couldn't say the whole word. Brown and McNeil call this the tip of the tongue phenomenon. Their research shows something amazing. The word wasn't lost, it was already stored in memory. The brain simply couldn't retrieve it at that exact moment. This happens to everyone: native speakers, teachers, doctors, scientists, even language experts. So if it happens to you, you are completely normal. Why does your brain freeze during conversation? Now here is another question. Why does this happen more during conversation than while reading or writing? Because speaking is one of the most demanding things your brain does. While speaking English, your brain is doing many tasks at the same time. It's thinking about your ideas, choosing the right vocabulary, remembering grammar rules, pronouncing words correctly, listening to the other person, understanding their responses, planning your next sentence, all within a few seconds. Psychologist Alan, who developed the theory of working memory, explained that our brain has limited mental capacity. When too many mental tasks happens at once, retrieving words becomes harder. That's why you may know hundreds or even thousands of English words but still struggle to remember them during a conversation. Then why do we feel ashamed? Now comes the most important question. If forgetting word is normal, why do we feel so embarrassed? The answer comes from psychology. Psychologists describe something called the spotlight effect. It means we often believe everyone noticed our mistake much more than they actually do. Everyone thinks I'm stupid, but in reality, most people are busy thinking about themselves. They are wondering if they sound confident, if they made mistakes, or what they are going to say next. Your mistake usually matters far less to others than it does to you. Another important fact about learning language. Researchers who study language learning have found something interesting. Your understanding vocabulary grows much faster than your speaking vocabulary. In simple words, you may understand 5,000 English words, but you may only be able to use 2,000 of them comfortably in conversation. That's completely normal. Understanding a word and using it naturally are two different skills. The bridge between them is practice. The more you speak, the stronger those connections become. So, what should you do? The next time you forget an English word, don't panic, don't think too much. I'm bad at English. Instead, tell yourself, my brain knows this word. It just needs another second to retrieve it. If you can't remember the exact word, use another word. Explain your idea differently. Keep the conversation going. Fluency isn't about knowing every single word. It's about communicating your message. Final message, remember this. Every fluent speaker has forgotten words. Every native speaker has experienced the tip of the tongue phenomenon. Every language learner has felt nervous. The difference is not that fluent speakers never forget. The difference is that they don't stop speaking when they do. So stop judging yourself for forgetting words. Instead, keep speaking, keep making mistakes, and keep learning from your previous mistakes. Because every conversation is training your brain to retrieve words faster. And one day you will look back and realize that speaking English has become natural. Thank you so much for spending your time with Learn English with Aira. If you find this video interesting, then like, share, and subscribe. I'll see you in the next episode. Until then, keep learning, keep growing. Bye bye, everyone.